Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Nintendo Review Podcast. I'm here with Greg, Lee, and Nick again. And this time you guys are going to hear Nick. Nick, are you recording?
I'm trying, yeah.
Is it working?
It's working for now.
See how it goes. How you doing, Nick?
Not bad, yeah, not bad. Very busy
Why
day.
not bad?
A long day, a very long day today.
Oh, I guess it's late/early for you. We can do that every week. Lee, you looking a bit dishevelled today?
I feel dishevelled today. I had a wonderful sleep. I went to bed early last night. Something fell in the bathroom last night at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was the toothbrush holder, which sticks to the wall with a suction cup. And that fell down, woke me up, and I just couldn't go back to sleep properly. So I feel rather bleary-eyed and peaky this morning.
That's fair enough. Greg, you always freak me out when you're clean-shaven. I'm not going to lie. You look like a serial killer. Have you got a job interview? Is that why?
Yeah, I had one this morning, yeah.
Is that why? Do you shave when you have a job interview?
Well, I was a bit scruffy before, so I kind of had to.
What kind of job was it for? People might like that.
Pharmacy.
Oh, maybe not. You got like people all diseased and
you have to look clean, yeah.
Awesome. Right.
We got a little bit of transition music, yeah. So we had an answer from Vileplume2000 last week, Dennis from our Discord group, and he guessed it very, very quickly. He said he had a little bit of trouble, but it's one of those ones that, I know it, and had to give him a little bit of a think. One of you boys also knows it, yeah? From the GameCube.
Yeah, I had no trouble straight away as soon as I heard it.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Oh, it was the menu music, wasn't it? From Rogue Leader,
Rogue Squadron 2. Yeah, Star Wars game. Great little piece of music. And once again, we'll be doing the same. Give us your answers to lee@nintendoreview.co.uk, Twitter @Nintendo_review, Facebook page Nintendo Review one word, and if you want to join our Discord, which is a growing and thriving community talking all about Nintendo, you can find details about how to join at Twitter and our Facebook accounts.
I got very excited. I listened to the podcast and it was Donkey Kong Country, and I went on the Discord. It's Donkey Kong Country. I know this one. I know. I was that excited, and then I realised I was like, hang on. So it's not the music you've just listened to; it's the music you're about to listen to now, right?
Yes.
Let's do it. So the news this week, as always, lots of new games. Now, we knew this game was coming out a couple of weeks ago, I think, but it's sort of didn't get really announced. It was just sort of like on the up-and-coming Switch games. And then it did get released yesterday, a couple of days ago. It's called Gems of War. On it, because I think they know it, on it said from the makers of Puzzle Quest. And I don't know if any of you guys played Puzzle Quest on the DS. I did. Absolutely loved it. Puzzle Quest 2, amazing. It's exactly right up my street. So I was very excited about this. Greg, was you as excited as me?
No, whenever you mentioned it, I think it was in Discord, you said you had just bought Gems of War or downloaded Gems of War. And I actually thought you had made some sort of like spell mistake, as you tend to do sometimes.
Never.
I also thought it was Gears of War.
I didn't think it was Gears of War, but I just thought it was something completely different because I hadn't even heard of Gems of War, and I have looked it up since, and enjoy it, boys.
It's amazing. Lee, have you played Puzzle Quest?
Yeah, I did. I can't remember whether I played. I think it was the first one I played. And yes, I thoroughly enjoy those kind of match 3 puzzlers anyway, as long as they're a good one. And they've got these RPG mechanics to stretch the whole puzzle mechanic out as well. And this looks good. I've downloaded it. It's waiting there, but I'm playing something else at the moment. But this is another one to start. Is there any online kind of aspect to it?
Yes. So, for example, you go online and you get automatically put into a lobby, like a chat lobby, a text chat lobby. So there's like, so you can look, so people are chatting and on there. Now there's a PvP mode, obviously player versus player mode, and it unlocked at level 10. I did that, and then when I went into it, I thought computer players. So I wasn't quite sure. So it looks like you can battle other players, and so I think that's fine. I think there is, but I haven't delved that much into it. I've just been playing it and absolutely loving it. It's brilliant.
And you got to level 10 day one, so how many players do you think might do that anyway?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, so we'll see. I've tried joining a guild on it. They have like daily quests and stuff like that. So and there was no guilds to join, so it's a bit like Don't know how many people are going to play this game. I'm enjoying it anyway, and I feel as if it is obviously kind of free to play and loads of microtransactions. It doesn't feel too bad at the minute. We'll see how the single player campaign goes. But if it's just a single player adventure like Puzzle Quest 1, I'm happy with that. But
complete tangent, but just for some reason thinking about puzzle games, sort of mixed with different genres. Did you ever play Henry Hatsworth on the DS?
Yes, I did, and I thought it was incredibly overrated. Did you like it?
I liked it to a point. I mean, EA games are, I think it was EA anyway, you take them, they never quite reach top tier, and I thought it was alright actually. Very difficult in places.
It was one of those ones I looked at after playing Professor Layton and didn't quite grab me, so no, I'd never played the Henry Hatsworth one.
So the next game is pretty exciting. Coming out in July, it is the next game in the... Well, I don't know if it's actually part of it, maybe one of you guys will know, but so there's a trilogy games called the Zero Escape trilogy that came out for the Vita and stuff like that, DS, 3DS as well. Otaru Ichikoshi, so it's his latest game. Greg, why are you particularly interested in this game?
Okay, to try and pretend we haven't recorded this bit before and pause it up. I genuinely interested to see why you're excited about it, because I played Virtue's Last Reward on the 3DS for approximately 8 minutes and I was done.
Well, maybe that's your problem. Maybe if you played it for 18 hours, then you'd understand why I love the game so much. So did you not play 999, the first one?
No.
You played 8 minutes of that and then that's it. Any of you guys played any of these?
I played the demo of 999 and didn't finish it. That's how much I got drawn into it. I just didn't see the attraction. Darren,
we've recorded this twice. I think we need to record this a third time and you guys need to change your opinions. What is the attraction? Just really good stories. I quite like whodunit. I'm obsessed with whodunits and true crime in fiction, so I listen to audiobooks. I'm always into true crime audiobooks. I'm always reading books, and I'm kind of obsessed with that, and I like the whodunit genre. Scooby-Doo is one of my favourite cartoons. And this is what this series is. It's this kind of mystery. I think it's a really interesting concept, and although the gameplay itself is pretty minimal and maybe pretty boring to an extent, for me the storyline is interesting enough for me to keep playing it. In a similar way, you've kind of chatted that you're interested in Phoenix Wright. For me, it's not that far removed from Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright's a bit more gamey and is a bit more involved, but it's only a side step from these games, in my opinion. So yeah, I love them for the stories, personally. So I'm guessing none of you are particularly excited about this.
No, I rarely ever play games for the story. So a game that's all about stories is always a bit of a tough sell for me.
What's weird is that I actually, because obviously Miyamoto is big on games shouldn't be about story. I am actually on that camp. I actually don't think games are the best way for stories. You should watch films or read books if you want a story, and games should be about play. That's why I love Mario so much. But weirdly, this and even Phoenix Wright are the exceptions to it, and I don't know why. Because if I think of games which are really story driven, when you think of things like Metal Gear games, for example, or to a lesser extent Uncharted, I do really like Uncharted games and stuff like that. But ultimately, I'm not that bothered about story focused games. But this, like you say, is all story, but I like it. Maybe it's because it is more of a novel than it is.
Yeah.
Because it's so extreme. Maybe that's what it is, actually. It's not trying to be one of these. It's like, actually, this is pretty much a novel which you get to. It's like, remember those, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to this? Go to page 43.
Yeah.
If you want to do this, go to... It's a bit like that. That's how it plays.
Interactive books, yeah.
Yeah. And I like it. So I'm looking forward to it. So, but you guys aren't.
Are you looking forward to it when the director Kotaro Ochikoshi said there was some cute and sexy fan service for the males?
No. We'll be getting onto that when Nick talks about his game, but I definitely will not get... No, that's only going to be off-putting to me. So you're not interested in that, but Lee, are you interested in Giga Wrecker?
Not particularly, but
Oh.
I watched the new trailer and it looks far better than what I saw in the first trailer. It looks a solid 2D platformer with puzzle mechanics. It's just I think I've had enough of them recently, that's all. This is a Japanese eShop release coming on May the 2nd, obviously by Game Freak, the Pokemon people. We've talked about this before, but whereas I was completely dismissive of it last time we talked about it, it's actually piqued my interest. But there's a couple of other games like Unravel 2 or something like that would fill that kind of gap better in the future when they come down on a sale.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, Game Freak being involved put me right off, and nothing can recover it. For me, there's a few really great indies, and actually, I don't know, I can't remember if this is what we're going to chat about later. I'm really on it tonight, aren't I? But there's certain indies that we're like, oh yeah, they could maybe take over some Nintendo franchises, stuff like that. Way Forward are one of them. They've just announced Shantae 5. Nothing more than it's coming out this autumn. Nick, have you ever played any of the previous ones?
I've played and beat Half Genie Hero on Switch, which is the newest one, the 4th game. And the one was on Wii U as well, I can't remember.
Half Genie Hero?
The Pirate's Curse.
Oh, Pirate's Curse, yeah.
Pirate's Curse. Both good games, very different. The Pirate's Curse is more of a Metroidvania, and Half Genie Hero's kind of like, you have to repeat a lot of the levels. It's like a level-based thing, it's not one world. But the thing that really disappointed me about this was the art style. They've gone back to the old art style. And I don't know if you guys have played Half Genie Hero, but it is absolutely beautiful. The art style, the animation, everything is so good on it. But apparently what I've been reading is that because it took them so long to draw everything and to do the graphics and animation, that's why the game wasn't as well received and as fully done, let's say, as Pirate's Curse. So maybe it's a good thing they're going back to this art style. But I'll pick it up. I like Shantae games. I've liked the first 2 that I've played anyway, at least. I never played any of the DS ones or the 3DS ones, but...
Do you like it because she wears like a crop top and she wiggles her belly?
That's what I'm all about.
Yes, exactly, yeah, exactly. It's your MO today.
Did you watch the Apple show? I forgot what they called it. It was the Apple Game
Arcade
Service. Yeah, Arcade, yeah.
Apple Arcade, yeah.
There's about 3 or 4 seconds of the new Shantae in there, which they kept stung on
really?
there, and it's in there. And it's actually in a graphical style, for me anyway. It looks like it's between Pirate's Curse and Half Genie Hero. It's in the middle ground.
I'll have to watch it later on. I've not seen it yet. I planned to, but I've just had no time yet. But by all accounts, it wasn't that great.
I think the arcade bit was probably the best bit of the whole conference, in my opinion. I think it'll be alright. I think it's a great idea. We'll see. The thing is, though, it's like loads of indies on the Switch. That's the thing. It's like, well, we pick them up for like 5-10 quid each, or we pay 10 quid a month, and we get everything. Yeah. Anyway, that's for another day. Another amazing, and I know Greg loves these guys. Another amazing third-party indie developer. Their next game got announced hours before we've recorded tonight. It's called Cyber Shadow or The Messenger. No, sorry, Ninja Gaiden. Oh no. Have any of you seen the trailer yet?
I haven't seen the trailer. I've seen one screenshot just before I sat down.
Now, Greg, I was saying about you love him. You're obviously kind of some kind of ridiculous psychopath who doesn't like Shovel Knight.
Well, clearly the look of a psychopath, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. You look like one. You have opinions of one. Yacht Club Games. I don't even know if I said that. Yacht Club Games. This is their next game.
They are the publisher, isn't it? It aren't someone else developing it, and they're publishing this. Like they published something else, and I forgot what it was.
Shovel Knight. Who just?
No.
It's that metal something. I can't remember what it is. But Greg, like I say, you don't like Shovel Knight. What do you think to this? What do you think to it?
I think it actually looks better than Shovel Knight. Like, it's a lot more fast paced, which I think is more appealing to me, because Shovel Knight can be quite slow, and like I found it a wee bit laborious at times. But yes, it's got that sort of 8-bit aesthetic again, and I've said before, like, just so sick of the sight of it. Just stop. It's relentless.
So you think it looks alright, but you're sick of that style?
Yeah, but the game itself looks like it could be decent. Like, it does look quite Messenger-y.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This game would have been in development a while, and I bet when the Messenger kind of came out, I bet they were like, oh, for Nick, are you have you played the Messenger? You know, you've played quite a lot of Switch games. Have you played the Messenger, or you got any fond members of Ninja Gaiden? Does this?
I've got the Messenger. I haven't played it though.
Same. I've played it for about an hour.
No, I added my name to this just to say that Shovel Knight is amazing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it bloody is.
That's the only reason.
And that needs to be said more often.
Well, I don't know about it being slow. I never found it slow. Frustrating, yes, it's very frustrating sometimes. But no, I think for me personally, Shovel Knight is probably one of the best attempts at doing an 8-bit game that I've played.
If not the best.
From a personal standpoint, yeah. Such a good game.
Because it makes an 8-bit game in 2018 incredible. Rather than... Anyway, yeah. Lee, you played Ninja Gaiden recently. You've said that you've already said that you're interested in the Messenger. Did you end up picking it up in the sale? Or?
I haven't picked it up, no.
Does this make you think twice, or...?
No. And I tell you why. It's to do with something that happened when I was playing Hollow Knight, and I didn't mention it when we did a Hollow Knight Pod Pals podcast, is that of 2D platformers, the most recent ones that I've really, really enjoyed and thought were above everything else is Mark of a Ninja Remastered. And this Cyber Shadow, Pushing the Messenger and all that, I don't know if it can go as good as that. So this is another one that will be held off until a future sale.
Interesting, because Nick hasn't played it yet. Darren's only played it for 10 minutes, and you haven't played it. I haven't played it. I was starting to think that's a potential game for us all to dip into at some point.
Yeah.
The Messenger.
Messengers.
Because I would pick it up in a sale in the future, I think.
It's on sale now, isn't it?
I've heard very good things about it.
Is it?
Well, the Messenger. What's the name of the company that publishes that? Because I picked up the Messenger, and because of that, there's a couple of games on my wish list that are permanently 15%.
I've noticed that because I've got Enter the Gungeon. It's like
that's
it's
it.
like
Yes, that's
£15
right. It's
something
Enter the Gungeon
at the moment. I'd still like it to drop a wee bit more.
I'll be up for that. It's 20 hours long, so was
Really?
Hollow Knight.
Yeah, well, Hollow Knight was considerably more, yeah.
It was a bit longer.
Yeah, so should be fine. Another amazing third-party indie. Greg, I can't remember your opinion on these. You probably hate it. SteamWorld Dig. Love it. And we played SteamWorld Dig 2, one of the best games on the Switch still, I think. But Image and Form, we've already known that their game is, they announced, SteamWorld Quest. But now they've announced it's coming out April the 25th. I was like genuinely kind of gobsmacked about that. They kind of said later in 2019 when they kind of unveiled it and stuff like that. And then even like last week they were saying, we're going to announce it soon. It's going to be fine. And then it's like in 4 weeks' time. Lee, you excited about it?
I've loved all the SteamWorld games, and I'm not, even the turn-based RPG one, the SteamWorld Heist was amazing. The way they approached it, and the way you could take your time, and it's just everything they've touched has turned to gold in my eyes so far from SteamWorld Dig. I like SteamWorld Dig, it was good, and SteamWorld Dig 2 is on another level, of course. So I'm looking forward to see what they can do with these kind of card RPG mechanics, and hearing Brian Sigurdsson talk about SteamWorld Quest and the way that the RPG card mechanics are integral but not heavily focused. They're not they're not the kind of ones where you need to constantly be getting new cards and kind of using some kind of gacha machine and spending money on it. It's a one payment, that's it, and you buy the game and you pay nothing else. It looks really, really interesting, but I still need to see more, and there's a couple of videos out there now and I need to go sit down and watch them.
Yeah, I think it looks good, it looks fine, and their pedigree's amazing. And I quite like card mechanics. Actually, Gems of War's got a card mechanic. I never mentioned that. That's got a card collecting aspect to it. Like you have your little team, which is really good. I quite like card mechanics. I played Hearthstone quite a lot on the iPad and loved it, and I'd love that game on the Switch. But the RPG stuff puts me off. I've tried it so many times playing RPGs, from Pokemon to Xenoblade to, and I love like Secret of Mana and stuff, but maybe they're more action. Anyway, so I don't know. I probably won't pick it up. Greg, I can't remember. Did you like SteamWorld? Have you played SteamWorld Dig?
I have not played any SteamWorld game.
Oh, God, Greg.
And I'll tell you why, because I don't really like the look of them.
They are amazing. Amazing. But I'd say the same. I would say I'd be gobsmacked if you didn't love it, but then I'd have been gobsmacked if you didn't love Shovel Knight. So who knows? But SteamWorld Dig 2 is incredible. Nick, have you played it? Surely.
I've played the first one on Wii U and on Switch. I've finished it twice, and it is very, very good.
So,
but I've got to I've got to, but I haven't played it. Yeah.
But
I got it in a sale.
SteamWorld Dig came out after SteamWorld Dig 2 on the Switch, so you played that again rather than playing SteamWorld Dig 2.
It was yeah, I did actually. I can't remember why I did that, but it was really cheap. I got it in a sale, and it was like £3 or £4 or something. So I'll get it again, and then I beat it in one evening. Just why not?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I think is it the second one that's not procedurally generated? Yeah, they created.
It's so honed. It's an amazing experience. Yeah, and there's lots of little puzzle rooms that you can you really need to think hard and have some agile reflexes towards the end of the game as well. It's more of a Metroidvania.
It is
good. I'll give it a go.
Stunning. It is.
And but I haven't played the other one. What's the other one? Heist. I've not played that either.
That is a kind of hit and miss with most people, but I really, and my son has put so much time into that. I really like that game. That is a lot of fun.
On the list.
And the final genius indie third-party studio who needs to be given something like maybe the next Mario 3D platformer. It's the guys who did Gunman Clive.
The one guy.
The guy who did Gunman Clive himself. His next game is called Mextermination. Quite like it.
Force.
Quite like the title. Yeah, Extermination Force. Yeah, it's coming out April the 4th again, a little bit sooner than anticipated. He came out and said he was really excited and a little bit terrified that Cuphead's coming out so close to his game because it's a bit of a run and gunner. But it looks fine. Lee, I think you're the only one to play Gunman Clive out of us four along with me. Are you excited about this?
I've actually, I'm so excited that I've put in a request for a key for it. So if we are lucky enough to get a key, we'll have a review of it up on our website as well. Yeah, it's not the kind of level progression that Gunman Clive has. It seems to be some kind of boss rush kind of mode, the whole game. So you basically, that's it, you got 2 or 4, I think at least 2 players on screen at one time, co-op, and you just taking out these huge mechs who are destroying cities and all that. And I've seen snake mechs, and you're climbing up the back of them. You've got some sort of anti-gravity thing where you can walk upside down on the snake, and you're just taking out weak points and dodging their shots. So it's got that kind of feeling of, I suppose, Gunman Clive taken to the next level.
Interested to see what the price is, but yeah, I'm interested in this.
It is about a tenner. It's either $8.99 or $9.99. A little bit.
Oh, okay.
A little bit more than what he was asking for Gunman Clive.
I am
that's fair enough.
watching a trailer right now, and it's giving me sort of Contra Rebirth vibes.
Yeah, there is a Contra kind of feel to it, except there's no level before. It's just the boss.
It actually does look pretty good.
Yeah, I think it looks great. And like I say, he was, a bit worried it's coming out very close to Cuphead. And speaking of that game, they've announced that it's getting Xbox Live features, but I think it's coming a little bit later on. And they've also said that they're going to more Xbox Live games are coming to the Switch throughout the year. Ori and the Blind Forest 1 and 2 spring to mind, and more. I think we're all getting it. Me and Lee have downloaded it already. Nick, you're getting Cuphead, aren't you?
Yeah, I will do, eventually.
What do you mean eventually?
I just told you about 2 games that I've got and not even started yet.
Oh yeah, because that stops us buying new games.
I will get it. I know. I think you've pre-bought it, haven't you? And you as well, Lee, haven't you?
Yeah.
I won't be doing that. I will get it though eventually.
I know
Maybe
somebody else who has.
It is sale.
I have it. I have it preloaded as well.
No, I do. I really do want to play it because even when it came out on Xbox, I was like, "Wow, this looks pretty cool." The list is growing and growing.
Well, what's one more?
I'm going to be responsible for a change.
It's ridiculous. Download it now, and then you can't change your mind.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
And how do you feel about them kind of, having an Xbox Live? I think, Lee, you would probably know this, but Minecraft has as well, but this is going to have Xbox Live functionality and more games. Do you think it's exciting?
I'm all for it. Why not? We haven't got anything else, so,
Well, Do you reckon there's a possibility that they could just put Xbox Live on it and then Nintendo just go, you know what, you do it. You can do party chat, you can do achievements, you just do it for us.
Do you know what I think's going to happen eventually? I reckon Nintendo games are going to use the mobile app and they're going to develop it a little bit more. I mean, we're still waiting for Smash Brothers. And I reckon there'll be a choice for third-party games to just use Xbox Live.
Ooh.
But I don't mean the online, like you pay for gold and stuff, but I mean maybe you'll have an option for like friends and you'll have an option for achievements and stuff like that, and it'll be, I reckon that could
That's
happen.
on a game basis rather than integrated into the system itself.
Yeah.
Like the voice chat, like Fortnite voice chat, obviously the company's doing that, then they've given it to, kind of Paladins and Smite and things like that. And then so games can say, yeah, I'll tap into that. But ultimately the money still goes to Nintendo if you want to play online. It's got nothing to do with, like you say, paying for Xbox Live or anything like that. They'll get the money with Xbox, the X-Pass thing, won't they, anyway? So when they release that later in the year. We're just going to end on something. We've had a big discussion about this previously. We did a little sweepstakes. We had a big debate on Discord. We chatted about it on the podcast about new Switches. And in the past week, a couple of reports. The first one was the Wall Street Journal came out and said there's going to be 2 new Switches. The first one's going to be coming out as early as the summer, and it's going to be like a cheaper one and one for avid and gaming enthusiasts. And then Eurogamer backed that up and said, yeah, we've heard the same thing. The first one is going to be handheld only, so no Joy-Cons. It's going to be a handheld device, and the Pro one is going to come a little bit later, but it's not going to be a massive upgrade. It's going to be more like 3DS to 3DS. What was it called? The new 3DS. Which to me is just like, don't bother, Nintendo. If that is all you're going to do, don't bother. But anyway, so that's what they said they're going to do. And then, there's been lots of people kind of coming out and talking about various things on it. Like most things, we could easily chat about this for half an hour as our topic of the week. But Nick, how do you feel about this news? Do you, we know how you feel about leaks and stuff like that, but how do you feel about it? Do you believe it? Do you want any of them? What do you want from them? Just very, let's all give a little brief sort of opinion piece on it. So Nick, go.
I'm the absolute opposite of you. I want a new 3DS style update because and that's what I think we'll see. I don't think we'll see anything too powerful.
Oh, so you want an update that doesn't do anything? Oh, that's interesting.
No, because actually the 3DS update was pretty substantial. Actually, they just the developers didn't make use of it because there was a lot of problems with patching games and stuff like that. Obviously, they hadn't built stuff for the dynamic resolution on the 3DS or something similar. But I think I've heard people talking about 4K, and we've got Mario Odyssey and Zelda not even running at 1080p, and Zelda's 30 frames a second. There is absolutely no chance in hell that this is going to be 4K. It's not going to happen.
I agree.
If they can get the main games like Zelda, Mario Odyssey, Splatoon running at stable 1080p without dipping down in the resolution, then that's going to be worth it from one side. Also, if we can play Wolfenstein not at 400p, that would be nice as well. I think it's going to be a very logical update. Like, they'll basically everything that was cheap when the Switch was released, they'll replace with something better, but that's still cheap for now, for 2019, and they'll still be taking a tidy profit from each console. And this is for the Pro version I'm talking about. Yeah. And I think if it's the same price as the Switch now, then I would buy it. If it's more expensive or if it's a really substantial upgrade, then I'm not going to bother, because I don't want to pay Xbox One prices to play Nintendo games, to be honest.
What if it's 300 quid, just a little bit more?
Yeah, 300 quid, okay, I'll go for it, because I was saying on the Discord the other day, my Switch is already starting to crack, so I'm happy to replace it. If the build quality is better, if it's a bit more sturdy, if it looks a bit better, no problem, I'll upgrade it. And if I get some better games, like better running games as a benefit, great, but I'm not expecting anything substantial.
If your Switch is breaking and you want something a bit sturdier, then maybe the childlike cheaper version's more for you.
I don't know, like this one's actually got me more interested, because I think the Pro version will be very similar to what we've got now in the way that it looks. Maybe we'll have a bigger, better screen, maybe the bezels will be smaller and stuff like that, but I think the actual form factor will be very similar. I actually think that the Pro version could be clamshell.
Oh,
like
I thought the opposite. I thought the cheaper one would be the clam version, and then
That's what he's saying.
No, that's what I mean.
That's
what I mean. Yeah, I think it'll be clamshell, and I think because obviously the screen will be completely protected then, and it'll be a very sort of like thin
screen
lid for
like
it,
like a folio case for a phone.
Who knows? But that's it's the continuing the 3DS design. And I think that'll be like a visual thing to people, like, oh, this is the new 3DS.
It makes the only thing I'd say against that is the reason they released a 2DS was because the hinges and the clamshell design isn't great for kids, because they can snap the hinges and they become a bit weak.
That's true.
So they released a block
2DS
to counteract that. So the idea that they'd go to the clam design for a child's version of the Switch.
And because it was mega cheap, because it was one screen instead of two. That thing, it was one screen that they just put the plastic over.
Yes, it was.
Did not know that.
Yeah,
did not know that.
Glass.
I don't know. What I would like to do is to get a Pro that's a little bit better. I'll use my current Switch to take around with me, because at the moment I'm absolutely paranoid that I'm going to break it. And then
the fact that you said it's 99% docked and it's cracking and breaking already.
Yeah. It's just because it's overheating from Rocket League, from playing 10 hours in a row of Rocket League. That's probably why. But no, I mean, I'd like to take my Switch out with me, but I'm just too worried about it getting nicked or it breaking. That's why I don't do it.
That's fair enough.
So if I had a second one, yeah, I probably would. And I'm really interested to see what the light version's going to be like as well. I probably won't get one, but I'm more interested in seeing what that's going to look like, and if they deviate in any way from the idea of Switch, because I've been reading stuff that it could deviate in quite a big way that it might not even dock, which is absolutely crazy, to be honest. But we'll see. It's exciting.
It is exciting. It is. Lee, have you got any further thoughts on what Nick said?
No. But basically, just an addendum to say that I can see the pros as what Greg has said in the past as well, as a continuation, just like Apple, a constantly evolving platform which is pushing the Switch forward. And if they're going to do this every 2 years, 2.5, 3 years, then I'll probably be in for a Pro every time, as long as like I say, I've got one Switch at the moment. My son is playing it. I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs. I could do with a second Switch, so I think it's come at the right time, depending once again on the price. The upgrade I'm not too bothered about, even if it's a slight upgrade, as long as they drop the price of the Switch now, and then this new Pro Switch comes in at the same price point as what the Switch is. It'll be a day one for me for the Pro.
Cool. What about you, Greg?
Well, for me, I think like the rumours coming out are pretty much exactly what we sort of predicted a few months ago.
Some of us.
Which is interesting. I'm sort of with Nick on the thing about the screen, because like obviously the bezels are on the side. They've got a wee bit of real estate there. They could make the screen a good bit bigger. They could even push it up to a 1080p screen. And if they're going Pro, I don't think it'll be that much of an upgrade as well, because I think it's too soon to start like splitting it so that like there's games that will only run on this Pro version and stuff. I know the new 3DS had like a few, but like I never liked that idea of like splitting the user base. I think it is definitely too early for that. But if they could get like games run better on the TV docked than they do in handheld mode, if they could get the handheld mode running as well as they do on the TV, that would be significant enough, I think, for me.
And what about the cheaper one? Is that no interest at all?
The cheaper one is actually interesting because my son will be 3 next month, so within the next year or two, like he's gonna start wanting to play some games, I think, because he watches me play sometimes. Like, oh, Daddy, I want you to play the dinosaurs. He means Turok. Shouldn't really be playing it in front of him. Or he wanted me to put Hollow Knight on sometimes because there's like spiders and stuff in it. He seems to be like into creepy stuff. But if I could get a wee introductory Switch model so that he's not having to play with mine, then that would be good. I think
when it's the 3DS upgrade, I think it just doesn't feel quite substantial enough. But maybe it's because they didn't use it enough, so it didn't feel like it was substantial. So it felt pointless. I bought it and I was like, I didn't use that awful little nubbin button and stuff like that. It's just like I didn't feel like
the eye tracking 3D was just fixed the 3D for me. That was fantastic. That was the upgrade, for me. And yeah,
I have to say, there's a slight tangent there to start talking about 3, but I don't know. You don't wear glasses. Me and Darren wear glasses. I don't know if you had this problem as well. I sometimes found that the eye tracking would go a bit funny. I'm not sure if it was a reflection on glasses or something, but yeah, occasionally it would go a bit wonky. So I'd be playing it normally, and then it would just like jolt to something weird. Take a wee minute to readjust again.
Anyway, it wasn't an impressive update either way. So whatever it is, I want it to be an impressive update. I want it to feel worth it, and I didn't feel it was that worth it. I didn't feel the DSi. I bought that as well. That wasn't worth it either. So I want it to feel. The last time was like the DS Lite. Obviously, that was amazing, and maybe like the XL with the bigger screen. So, but for me, I think it's surely got to kind of take up the whole unit. So the Joy-Cons fit on perfectly, but the screen is that big, and a 1080p screen and a bit powerful. That's great. I personally wouldn't mind a bigger jump than you're saying. I wouldn't mind Pro exclusive games. If that is the only way we can get Resident Evil 2 or Kingdom Hearts 3 or things that or Xbox 5 and whatever Xbox 5, PlayStation 5 or the next Xbox, like ports of them, like we're getting ports of like Doom and Wolfenstein and stuff like that. So if it's the only way we can bridge the gap by making a Pro version, and unfortunately it does split the base a little bit, personally that'd excite me more than just a slightly better version of the Pro. I am also really excited about the handheld version a lot, but just because I think they'll make them really colourful. Like I think there may be a range of colours, or they'll release special limited edition versions of the consoles, which excites me. I've got a perfect excuse by buying one for Hugo. The killer for me, and I don't know how this works at the minute, I don't know if any of you guys can answer this. What's going to be important for me is I'm happy to have to get a Pro and a handheld. I'll easily do that as long as I can as long as I can move between devices and play my library. So I know you can sort of do that now, and I know it's like you can play on one, but it stops you from playing on the other. Yes. How quick is that process? That's what I want to know. Because then, because I'll give Hugo his, but if I can have my account on his Switch as well, then I'm happy. Then I can move between the telly, have the handheld one, I can go away. I can move between them. That's what worries me. But do you know how it works, Lee? Have you done it?
I haven't done it, no. Not only
Okay.
having the one Switch, but yeah, it seems as if it is pretty much simultaneously. As long as you've got your user on both those Switches, if you're logged into one, then you can't play it on the other one. So it seems it's got to be pretty much at that moment, hasn't it? And then if you log out of that one and log into the next one, you'll switch over. Is it my question was is it to do with the family membership, and therefore you are constricted in how many Switches you could have it on potentially? How many family members? Is it about 8? Is it? That's a lot of Switches.
8.
Yeah.
I was going to say, just the 3 will do me, I think. Everything will be fine. But
If I remember correctly, and I could be wrong about this, it's just from what I remember, that you can have a single membership on 2 consoles.
Oh, okay.
So you have, it could be wrong, you have the main account on one, and then the other Switch is, the main account is somebody else, but you're like not a guest account, but like a secondary account. So if you download games onto that Switch, they can play your games, and I guess by default that means you can also play your own games. But you're right about that. I think on the secondary one you need to be online to play it.
Yes, that's right. And the person whose Switch it is, the other Switch, they can't be playing that game at the same time.
As you. Yes, that's right. So you want to make the secondary one the docked one that you're not going to be playing offline, basically. So that if you take the second Switch out and you don't have Wi-Fi, your main account's on that. So it's complicated. It's Nintendo, isn't it? Online.
But maybe they'll look at it. Maybe they'll be like, right, the whole point of these cheap Switches is to have families running them. Maybe they're going to look at like what family accounts. Like using about the Apple event. You didn't watch it. It's $9.99 a month, and if it's like, the whole family can play it and have their own saves, their own games, their own favourites, their own everything, and the whole family can do it. It's just like, come on, Nintendo, bring in a proper family account. So if somebody buys a game, everyone on their account can also kind of download and play that game, and you can all play together as a family. I don't think they'll do, but hopefully they will. So maybe they'll rejig the account system.
Because at the moment, you got 2 Switches and you want Hugo to pop on Splatoon 2 with you, you're buying Splatoon 2 twice.
Yeah, at the minute, yeah. But I just wonder if when they release this and they want this family system, they'll maybe think, let's be nicer to families.
Hang on, that's no. If you have a family account, you can share games. I'm sure that's.
You can't both play. You can't.
Not at the same time.
At the same time.
You can't.
No.
Really?
No. I know. No.
They'll change that. I'm sure they'll change that.
They will.
Because once, but they said, didn't they? They said that the idea of the Switch is not to have one in every house, but for every member of the household to have
and
one
they want
Switch.
to sell you 5 copies of Splatoon 2 as well.
Yeah. So the objective is to have
we'll
not one Switch per house, but 5 Switches per house. And also the objective is to not have 1 copy of Mario Kart per house, but 5 copies of Mario Kart per house.
5 copies.
I don't know, but you definitely can't, because I know my mate, he's got multiple Switches in his
Wow.
and he was just like, please. And then they announced the family thing. I don't know if you went in. It's like he was like, oh my god, please do family. And then he got it. It was like, no, I can't do it. I can't play with my family. So that is kind of ridiculous. I did say that was the last time we're going to chat about it. It probably should have been. So just before we get onto what we've been playing, Nintendo revealed at GDC this year the top 10 selling indie games. And there's a few surprises. I'll just quickly say that this isn't the order of them, by the way. They just released the top 10. Stardew Valley, Hollow Knight, Overcooked 2, which blew my mind having that there. Undertale, Dead Cells, Enter the Gungeon, Graceful Explosion Machine, what? Celeste, Golf Story, and Overcooked. Overcooked 1 and 2 in the top 10. That is unbelievable. Any particular highlights there for you, Greg?
I have 3 of them. Obviously played Hollow Knight recently, which is pretty good. Golf Story, which I beat, I think maybe towards the tail end of last year, or maybe the start of this year, can't remember. It was pretty good as well. So the other one I have from this, Enter the Gungeon, so I'm hoping it continues the trend. And I'll probably add Celeste at some point.
Cool. What about you, Lee?
I'd love to pick up Stardew Valley. It's just one of those time things, that is a time sink of a game, and I'm sure Nick will confirm that. Hollow Knight we just played.
Yes.
Overcooked 2 I never picked up, even though I was interested in the online part, because I played Overcooked 1 and got so frustrated playing that with my son that I don't think I want to go through that again. Undertale, we've talked about on the extras last week, which is another potential. Dead Cells is another potential game I might pick up. Into the Gungeon is fantastic. Celeste is definitely a game I would love to pick up. They're all good, and the Golf Story is wonderful. It got a bit boring towards the end, but that Graceful Explosion Machine is a strange one. I know it was because it was early on in the Switch. It wasn't too expensive, and it's been in sales subsequently and really cheap, for a couple of quid. And I nearly did pick that one up as well. Congratulations to them all. Wow, what a list.
Nick, any special mentions?
How many of these games have you got, Darren?
9.
I've got 10.
You got all 10?
Yeah.
How many of them have you played?
The only ones I haven't played are... Overcooked 2 is the only one I've not played. And Undertale, I guess. But I've played that on PC, so...
You've got Overcooked 2?
bit.
We
Yes.
should play it online.
You should.
We should.
I'm dying to play it. What's your favourite one out of them? Not, or the worst one?
The worst one, probably the original Overcooked.
Ah.
Because, like Lee said, it was ridiculously frustrating. I tried playing it alone, and no, it's impossible
alone.
At least you had your son to play with.
Why did you
but,
get Overcooked
yeah,
2 then?
Because it's online. That's why.
Fair enough. It's good to read say.
Very quickly, Graceful Explosion Machine is okay. Maybe 2 or 3 hours I've played that. It's a decent shoot 'em up. If any of you played Vostok Inc., that's much better in my opinion than Graceful Explosion Machine. Stardew Valley, 10 out of 10. Hollow Knight, 9.5 out of 10. Dead Cells, fantastic game. I haven't finished it, so I won't say. Enter the Gungeon, 10 out of 10. Celeste, 10 out of 10. Golf Story, 7.9 out of 10. Good games, all very good games. And all definitely worth picking up if you have a spare 10 to 20 quid.
Here's a quick question. What game is missing from this list?
What's missing?
Well, what from the list of the top 10 selling Switch games? None, because they're the top 10 selling Switch games.
What should be on the list?
Exactly.
Rocket League. How is Rocket League not on here?
Rocket League, absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Rocket League.
Minecraft.
Or some free to download
Minecraft,
game. Minecraft
yeah.
should be, yeah. That's always in the top 10.
Minecraft's got a physical version. That's why.
Yeah.
I can't even think.
These
of it.
are eShop only games.
Monster Boy.
But then again, Enter the Gungeon has a physical version now as well.
But do they class
No,
those last
yeah.
one limited run games as proper physical? I
No,
don't think they do.
don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
Okay.
No.
Because I think Golf Stories has been released. I think Overcooked got one. I love Graceful Explosion Machine, by the way.
I think of all of these, I would recommend Stardew Valley the most
Wow.
because it's you can sink so much time into it.
I put about 10 hours into it, I think. I love Harvest Moon. I put about 10 hours into it, and I liked it. I really liked what I played, but I was just a bit... What?
85 hours.
Nothing on Rocket League.
It's not.
Nothing on Rocket League, but some good games. It is a surprising list. Graceful Explosion Machine being in the top 10 is genuinely staggering.
It's what Lee said. Like, it was very early and it was constantly being on sale. That's probably why.
Yeah, but loads of games have. And also none of the others have. I don't think it being on sale means it's going to be up there, because some of those games, Dead Cells has never been on sale. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there are some big games that aren't on there. I don't know. I'm just surprised. It's good. I really like Graceful Explosion Machine. So, but anyway, they're the top 10. I wonder how that list will change over the next year. Cuphead, I can see that selling 1 million.
Yes.
So, it wouldn't surprise me. But good. So, let's find out what you've been playing.
Sonic Mania. There you go. Why is that not on there?
Because it's Sonic.
I've got a few ideas. Cool, right, so, what have we been playing? Let's save Sleazy Nick for later. We'll start with Lee, because he's been playing a bloody demo, and I bet he still chats about it more than we chat about our games. I'm kidding, of course.
This is Max and the Curse of the Brotherhood. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen this, but it's a 2D platformer. And the thing that kind of drew me to this demo is its art style. It looks like Disney Pixar kind of motion kind of capture in a claymation. It's this cross between this claymation style and this incredible CG style to it. And it starts off basically where a young boy, he comes home on his skateboard from school. His little brother's annoying him, and he tells his brother, "I wish you'd go away," or something like that. And his brother gets sucked into this time-dimensional portal into a monster world. His brother then, Max, wants to jump in after his brother to save him. He goes off into this other dimension. It's all pretty straightforward, you know. What really gripped me about it and why I want to talk about it is twofold. First of all, when you get into the game, it's just a simple left to right 2D platformer. A is jump, for example, and you automatically pull yourself up onto a ledge, and it's nice and cute, and it's simple, but it controls very well. The controls, they're not too floaty. It's quite a solid down to ground 2D platformer. But very shortly after, you kind of find where your brother is. There's this huge monster in the background plodding around, and he's holding your brother in his hand, and you throw a rock at the monster, who turns his attention to you. Your brother drops, he gets taken off, and then you're chased by this monster. And what follows is one of the best running away from a monster kind of 2D platformers, while you are ducking under ledges and the monster's just crashing through this, bashing this mountain down to get through to you, and it's just this frenetic run, and you're going to die. There are, and fortunately when you do die, because it is quite difficult even from the beginning to actually get this pattern of movement down, swinging across vines, ducking under and crawling under ledges, jumping over platforms which are falling because they're all rickety little wooden bridges, and this monster's crashing after you. It's difficult, but it's got just the right amount of difficulty that when you reset, and it's one of those things that Darren likes, it gets reset very quickly back to a little section. So there's these little sections of closed off areas, and you finish that little running section, which was, I just thought it was amazing. I thought, oh my god, this is a game I might have to pick up. And then you eventually wind your way up this little vine covered tree, and there's this magician at the top, a little woman. And she gives you, and this is the second part of the game, where the game completely fell down for me. She gives you a magic marker, a kind of like an ink-filled crayon, and introduces this second mechanic to the game, where you have to create platforms out of the ground and destroy them, and you have a limited amount of ink. And unfortunately, because of this, it just slows the game down to a pedestrian rate, and if anything is chasing you, it feels one of the most frustrating things, because there's no pointer controls. You're doing it with the analog stick and moving the analog stick, and when you're doing that, you can't run. It messed up at the end. What turned from this most beautifully looking, action-packed runner kind of 2D platformer ended up in this frustrating puzzle mechanic. So just soured it for me completely. They went for, if they stopped the demo at the end of that first section where the monster's chasing you, I would have probably bought this game and then been absolutely frustrated and off that they sold it wrong. At least I got to see the mechanic I didn't like anyway.
I don't know what's more outlandish, like Greg saying he doesn't like Shovel Knight, or you claiming that this looks like a Pixar film.
I did add the caveat with a little bit of claymation.
I think either's overselling how it looks big time. I played the demo too. I thought it was alright. I thought nothing really bang average, to be honest, but fair enough. So it went from a sale. So what if it was
definite no sale?
What if it was an offer?
No,
do you think
I absolutely hate that platform building mechanic. It's so frustrating to use.
Fair enough.
Couldn't see, and you know, it's just that first level, and you can see, oh, that's it. That 2D running platform kind of thing, that's done. It's all that puzzle mechanic now throughout the entirety of the game. Forget it.
Fair enough. It's like when I played Hollow Knight. Just started off and I was like, oh yeah, this game's amazing, and then I died and I was like, oh. I'm going to mention Hollow Knight every single podcast from now on, I think. Greg, you've been playing a game which I'm very eager to hear about. I want to know, did you finish it?
Finished in the sense that I've cleared all the main missions and beat the final boss.
That's finished.
Okay, well,
very good.
Yeah, I'm considering it finished yet.
Yeah, that's good. So I'm very excited. I've started playing it when it launched, and I've not touched it since. I've always meaning to go back. So tell us about what game it is, and then what your thoughts.
Well, obviously last week I was playing Hana Samurai, and that was sort of like clearing up one of the final remaining 3DS games that I had. I've went back to the Wii U this week to sort of clear up some games in it as well. And I went for StarFox Guard, which is obviously it came out along with StarFox Zero, which I know it doesn't have that great reputation. I love StarFox Zero, had an amazing time with it, but StarFox Guard kind of just got left sealed. I never really bothered to try and get into it until now. And I know it's probably quite a short game, but basically StarFox Guard, it's obviously not a traditional StarFox game, because you're basically, it's like you're working security cameras basically. So it starts off, I can't, honestly, there's not that much of a story to it, but I can't even remember what it is. I just know you're working for Slippy Toad's uncle. Basically, the game is split up. There's like 5 different planets, so you'll start in Corneria, like most Star Fox games, and the first stage is basically an introduction to it. So there'll be like a level laid out on your Wii U gamepad. You'll see an over the top view. So there's like, it's basically a simple thing. There's like a core in the middle, and then there's like barriers sort of around it with gaps. So there'll be enemies that try to come in and reach the core in the middle of this level, and it's your job to select the cameras, and each camera has like a gun on it. So it's your job to select the specific camera and shoot at the enemies to fend them off so they don't reach the core in the middle. So this level starts off before any of the enemies come. You actually get the opportunity. You've got 12 cameras, so you can move them around on the touchscreen of the Wii U gamepad to place them exactly where you want. They all have a default position originally, and that's generally good enough to do the job I know, but you can move them around wherever you want. So you'll do that, and then you'll jump in, and there'll be different types of enemies that come. There'll be some that aren't actually aiming to come to the core in the middle. There'll just be ones that are there to like destroy cameras or block your view, or like some of them have like magnets, so your cameras are all sort of attracted to it, so you can't really shoot properly. Your aiming's really off. So you can deal with those, but the main ones are, you'll see them on your map. They're marked as wee blue ones, and they're ones that are going straight for the core. And obviously I've only spoke about the gamepad so far. On the TV you will see like all the footage from each of the camera feeds. So basically you're looking at the TV, and each camera is numbered 1 to 12, so you'll maybe see like an enemy's just appeared in camera 3, so you'll use your touchscreen to select like camera 3 and try and shoot it down. But while that's happening, there might be somebody come in camera 5 or camera 7 at the same time, and you sort of have to like manage which enemies you're wanting to take down first. Some enemies might have like a shield up, so you can't shoot direct at them. You have to wait till they come into a position where you select a different camera and try and shoot from behind to take those out. And it's actually quite a lot of fun. Like, I had a really good time with it. It does get quite repetitive. There's about 50 normal missions in it, and I think there's also 50 extra missions that you can do, and I only tried to do one of the extra missions, and it sort of flipped what way it works, because in the normal game you can shoot as many times as you want, and you'll unlock different like upgrades for your cameras the more you play. So you might have one where you can like select a charge shot and place it on a camera, or you might have one where you can lock onto multiple enemies, or one that slows down time. In the extra mission, it was only giving you a limited amount of bullets to clear out all the enemies, and if you ran out of bullets, the mission was over. So I'm sure there's probably quite a few different variations on that, so I may actually go back and see that, because like I said, I had a lot of fun. And there's boss fights throughout as well. So basically you have your 5 planets, and they're all split into like 3 different areas. So in each of those 3 areas, they'll be split into 3 different missions as well. So you'll do those 3 missions, then you move on to the next one, and after each set of 3 there's like a boss fight at the end, and they're nothing particularly difficult, and I kind of found that throughout the whole game. I imagine the extra missions give you a much greater challenge. The whole game was pretty straightforward, and that included the bosses, but they were actually genuinely really fun to play, and like figuring out all the different enemies, the way to take them out, pretty good. There's even like some like invisible enemies come in, but you'll see their shadow coming. So it's a nice mix of, it's one of those games where it actually does make use of the 2 screens, which was obviously really lacking on the Wii U. So constantly flicking between the TV and the screen on the Wii U gamepad. Yeah, it's a fun game, and I think it's worth giving it a go, because it only really takes probably about 4 or 5 hours to go through all the main missions.
Did you have Jacob trying to help you by looking at the TV and going, Daddy, number 3?
Well, he was one of the, like, whenever I picked it out, I thought, you know what, I might be able to play this with my son, but he's not 3 yet, but he actually is really good with his numbers, so like he can count up to 20 and stuff, and he recognise a number if you show him it. But whenever I'm trying to play, he's just shouting out random numbers on the screen, so he's not really helping. But it was fun to try anyway, and like if he does get a wee bit older, I think like he probably would be a good bit of help actually.
Yeah, I was going to
It does
say.
look a fun game to play with your family, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of convinced me a little bit to maybe to whack it on with Hugo. Maybe after we're just nearly the end of Lego Star Wars. Yoshi's coming out Friday. After that, maybe StarFox Guard. He loves playing. Well, we finished Captain Toad together, but he loves playing Pixel Toad.
Mm-hmm.
So he loves watching and waiting to find Pixel Toad and hear him and stuff like that. So the idea of that probably would appeal to him.
Yeah, so can I sort of imagine him going daddy over here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there any times when you could see exactly where it was you needed to be, but you wanted him to say, "Is it number 3?" I do that on Pixel Toad all the time. I'm like, I can see Pixel Toad. I'm like, can you see him yet? No. Closing in on the camera. What about now?
No, there's not that. There's just few, like earlier, because I said that he wants me to play the dinosaurs sometimes, which is obviously Turek. Like sometimes he goes, "Daddy, play the robots," which is StarFox Guard.
It's a little bit nicer than massacring dinosaurs.
Wee bit.
Don't want him to be a serial killer like his daddy. I'll quickly talk about my game before we get sexy with Nick. I'll be very quick. So I've been playing the game. I've been playing it for a long time actually. Because it's called Danmaku Unlimited 3. It's a shoot 'em up, a bullet hell game. So basically, I don't know if you know what a bullet hell game is, but it's a shoot 'em up. Like you know what a shoot 'em up is. But the screen is just filled with bullets, and part of the game is to obviously take down ships, but also avoid these unbelievable kind of bullet kind of patterns. And sometimes you can look at the screen and you think, I've got no idea how I'm not going to get destroyed by these bullets. But I think there's a real fun in kind of doing that. So I'm playing this, and I don't know if you know much about shoot 'em ups, but they've all got their own little gimmick. They've all got a little mechanic. It's not like R-Type where you're just shooting really, and there's not much more to it than that, or any of the kind of old classic ones. The newer ones all have a little gimmick, like obviously Ikaruga, the kind of famous one for Nintendo fans, I guess, and where you change polarity to then shoot and absorb and stuff like that.
White.
Yeah. So the gimmick on this is called graze. So that's it, graze. So what it is you basically, the closer you get to the bullets, you build up a meter. So it wants you to get really close, like really in the game. It's not forgiving. You have to get really close to the bullets.
It's like Burnout.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. And it was a brilliant mechanic in Burnout, and it's a brilliant mechanic in this, where you kind of force you to get closer to the bullets, and so you're not. So it's also got two things. One, sometimes you don't want to shoot the ships too early. You want them to fire at you first, so then you can graze up against the bullets, then shoot them, and then you build up this meter, and then you go into sort of like some super powerful sort of mode. In that, the other mechanic is that it's got like, so you got like a spread of bullets, but you've also got a focus bullet. So it's like a stream, and it's like a really powerful one, but you can't spread it out and shoot the screen up. So it's good if you're right in front of something and you can really put loads of power into it, which then makes it hard because you can't move as much because you're not hitting what you want, if that makes sense. So when the bullet hell comes in, it's like a balance of, do I really go for them, like put loads of power into to trying to kill him, or do I do a softer bullets but it's got a bigger spread, and also it stops your movements really limited if you're doing that, the focus and stuff like that. So that's pretty much its gimmick. And then it's just like 6 levels. It's not very long if you could finish it. 6 levels playing through it, but the game is obviously unbelievably hard, so getting through those 6 levels is very tricky. And I will say, I think this is one of the greatest shoot-'em-ups I've ever played. If, like, for example, I've been playing Ikaruga at the same time. In my opinion, my controversial opinion, because everyone loves Ikaruga, I think this game is infinitely better than Ikaruga. I've come to the conclusion, I don't even think I like Ikaruga that much, to be honest. I don't think the core mechanic is that fun. I played it and I was just like, I don't find it that fun, and it is really hard. And I almost think it's probably too hard for my taste, and like the mechanic isn't fun enough for me to learn it and to dominate the game. So it's a combination of, it's brutally hard, but I didn't want to play it enough. Like Danmaku is hard, but I want to play it enough. I wanted to play it enough to finish it, and I've been playing it for months, and I've only just got to finish that 6th level. So another thing you can do is that you can, so it's a high score game, it's really, but you can add extra lives and continues like Ikaruga and like a lot of shoot 'em ups. And if you do that, you can't put a score on the leaderboard. So you've got to finish it within its parameter. So I stuck it out and I finally finished it, and I'm going to keep playing. And that's only on easy. So there's 4 difficulty levels, and I've only just done it on easy after months of play. And I was like, oh my god, I don't even know what the next one's going to be like. But it's just amazing. I think if you like shoot 'em ups, it's pretty cheap as well. It's not that expensive. If you like shoot 'em ups, it's an absolute no-brainer. It's incredible, and I've got probably a good dozen on the Switch, because the Switch is becoming like an absolute beast for shoot 'em ups. There's loads of amazing ones. This is, for me, is the best one out of the lot. So if you like shoot 'em ups, get it.
And this one as well, correct me if I'm wrong, it does the vertical switch, doesn't it? You can flip your screen around.
Yeah, sorry, and I've got the flip grip, which the plays vertical games, and it plays in that mode, and it's just brilliant. Ikaruga does too. The flip grip, as a complete aside, is one of the greatest peripherals I've ever had in my life. It is amazing, and the fact that there's so many Switch games which play in vertical mode is just, it's amazing. And I love it. I love just sort of sitting down, getting the flip grip out, playing these vertical games. I've played loads of them recently. So what I do, I just go through ways. So basically, if I have a session, I'll just sit down and play loads of them. So I played finished Punch Out last week, Danmaku. Pinball does it, but I actually don't like pinball in full screen vertical mode. I prefer it zoomed in. Don't work for me, pinball, but the rest of them are great. Loads on the Sega Mega Drive collection, SNK collection, the Namco collection. Loads of those kind of arcade games are in it. What else? A few others as well.
Downwell, yeah.
Downwell is an absolute must-buy, by the way, guys. I'll probably chat about that when I finish it. I'm near the end, but that is nails as well. But that is like £2.69 or something like that. It's a bargain. Get a flip grip, get Downwell. Bargain. Yes, that's what I've been playing. So, I've got my tissues ready. Nick, tell me about Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, have you got your tissues ready because it's such a bad game that makes you want to cry, yeah?
I've not played Bayonetta 2. I am playing
well, I thought
Bayonetta
you hated
now.
Bayonetta 2. Oh, you're
I don't
going
hate
through
it.
the first one, aren't you? Alright, Bayonetta 2. I don't want to say much about it. Just that I got this at launch. I finished the first one very quickly. Didn't even start the second one. And then on the Discord, I think it was on Discord, Dennis was talking about going through it, wasn't he?
Yes.
So I think it was a couple of days ago, I just said, oh, I'll start Bayonetta 2. And I've already played 10 hours.
So you love it?
I finished it on Wii U. It's a good game. I really like Bayonetta 1 and 2. I think 2 is a much better game. It's got that House of the Dead Overkill vibe to it, where the story is so stupid and so bad that it's actually quite good.
No, I have to stop you there. No.
Yes. Come on. It's the story is horrendously bad, but it's so bad that I actually really like it. Except Loki, his voice is the most annoying thing I've ever heard in my life, and that fake British accent is awful. But I think the thing that I really noticed about it today when I was playing was how absolutely beautiful the cutscenes are. Like this game looks like when you're playing, it's not amazingly stunning. I mean, running at 60 frames is nice, but some of the cutscenes look so good. And I only found out today that Bayonetta 2 is only 720p on the Switch, docked. And I think this is a really good example of a game that would really benefit from the Switch Pro, because if they can get that up to 1080p and get the game looking as good as it does in some of the cutscenes and still running really fast. Oh yeah. If we're gonna have 4K, it's only for that. I'm honestly really surprised that Nintendo managed to get this as an exclusive game, because it's not Nintendo, but the gameplay is really, I suppose it's pretty Nintendo. It is gameplay over everything else at the end of the day, and it's got me really excited for Astral Chain that's coming up soon, and Bayonetta 3 as well, hopefully this year, probably next year.
I can't believe you finished it already and you're playing through it again. It's like all the games.
No, I finished it on Wii. But
you still finished it. It's the same game, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like playing something a bit mindless. Like I usually stick on Rocket League when I want to do that, but I'm trying to hold back a little bit.
That's fair enough. I don't hate Bayonetta. I hate Bayonetta. I don't hate the game. When I'm playing the game, very often I'm like, this is fun. Yeah. This is impressive. I can understand why people love the combat, and I like it. It's everything around it. That kind of every cutscene. It's just she is probably the most unbearable character I've ever witnessed in a video game.
I don't know. See, I really like that.
It's just a voice.
Darren.
Oh yeah, and just sucking that lollipop, and then she's in a fight and a lollipop flies. I'm just like, I hate everything about it.
Don't you want to?
Yeah, exactly. Oh god, it makes me every time.
Can't
You can
stand
see the
the
faces I
little
pull.
one. Can't stand Enzo.
No, I like it. I like it. Enzo, yeah. Oh, he's the Italian guy from the first one, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the short, fat mafia guy.
Yes.
I liked
yes.
him as well.
What about that guy, the
No.
human character in the first one as well? It was like she killed his dad or something. I was just like, oh god. Every time I'm gonna go to a cutscene and I can't. It's like a car crash. I can't look away. I can't skip it.
It's a terrible B movie, and that's why it's awesome.
But the difference is, I don't mind it being bad. Like, although House of the Dead Overkill, I think is obviously supposed to be bad. I don't think Bayonetta is supposed to be bad.
Of course.
But
See, that's I think it is a little bit. Like, I mean, look at what is the story even about? Like, it's completely ridiculous. I know that guy who wrote it is completely taking the. Like, I know this is ridiculous.
the difference is, I just don't like her. I don't like the characters in the work. So the difference is, House of the Overkill, it's silly.
She's
and
not
stupid and
likeable.
that, but this, I'm just like, I know it's not just bad. It's like it's unbearable. It's unbearable. But the gameplay is great, and I've not played 2, so yeah.
2's
so
much better, actually. Yeah,
A lot better.
it's much smoother. There's a few new moves.
There's bigger open spaces as well, isn't there? You don't feel so confined.
Everything
in
about
certain
it,
levels.
like the whole scope and scale of it's much better. Definitely,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's all
So
about the spectacle, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I played it like you. I played it on Wii U, and then I played it again on Switch, and I liked it better on Switch because I skipped all the cutscenes. It just flowed a lot better when I wasn't interrupted by that
I did
trash.
play it. But
All right,
like
love.
But like you said, is like actually it does kind of make me excited about Astral Chain as well, because when you look at that, obviously we haven't seen much, but from what I've seen, it's like the characters in the world appeal to me a lot more. So it's this really good combat, but much better cutscenes than.
Yeah.
The police girl in leather hot pants.
It's far better. It's got Resident Evil vibe. Yeah, cool, awesome. So next, we've got a list of questions. So the listener question comes from Johnny, and he asks a question. You know what? I'm not even going to answer this, I don't think. No offense, Johnny. What's your favourite ever introductory section to a game? I've got no idea. I have no interest in this question. I'm up for a you guys answer it. Greg, you go first.
Turn your microphone off then if you do.
We've been delighted enough.
Exactly. Round 2. Greg, do you have a favourite introductory section? I don't even know. Go on, have you got one?
Well, there was one that sort of sprung to mind immediately, and that is Resident Evil 4. Just that obviously that village section at the start sort of throws you in. Starts off quite slow. You go into a house, there's a fella there, you take him out, and then you sort of go into the village, and then everybody's sort of chasing after you, and it's like, it really gets the blood flowing, shows you what the game's all about, really, and it's quite intense. And then just when you think, oh, I'm not sure I can keep going with this here, then the bell rings and everybody sort of disappears, and then that's when the game sort of really starts. Like, and yeah, it sort of really throws you in, and I love it.
You're going to get to play it soon?
Yeah, it's so different to all the previous Resident Evil games and stuff, and it's just like I'd never really played anything like this before, and I thought it was amazing. And like, people complain that like Resident Evil 4, it's sort of when Resident Evil starts to become like more action focused and stuff, and like all the older games are scarier and stuff because of the setting and stuff. I actually find this scarier because it's like there's like that pressure, that intensity, just the fear of just being caught, like the guy with the chainsaw coming after you, and you can hear it coming, but you're not entirely sure where he is until maybe he's just cutting through a door and there he is. Yeah, much more frightening.
Awesome. So how about you, Lee, a Link to the Past Davis?
How did you guess? I actually have 3 down for this. Resident Evil 4 was one of them. The other one was Metroid Prime. The original, where when you come down onto that space pirate frigate, and then you go through, and then after beating the Parasite Queen, then you've got to escape before the whole thing blows up. I thought that, for a Nintendo game, that is as cinematic as it gets, and it did make you feel obviously like you were there just in Resident Evil 4. And yes, you've guessed right, Link to the Past. I'll go on about it forever when the moment you wake up and you leave your house and it's raining, and that little jaunt through to finding the secret entrance, the back entrance into the castle. It's something else.
Yeah, I would have to say actually that's probably the best part of the game, and then it sort of slowly
Getting downhill from there. Boo. I was going to say, when Greg was talking, I did go, I've got one actually. I do want to answer this question, and mine was Metroid Prime 4. That feeling of that. It's almost like Mario Galaxy, Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. Not because it's a particularly good opening, but just the first time you play these games and you just think, this is amazing. That feeling is good. But actually, as an opening, I did think about Metroid because Metroid Prime was the first Metroid game I played. I think I played Super Metroid a little bit, but not really. So Metroid Prime was the first play, and I played through it, and you're super powered. Then you do it, and you get smashed, and then you're like, all your powers get taken away, and you're like, oh my god! And then it all, so that was amazing. And I remember it.
Yeah, and just being behind this visor, like you'd never really seen anything like that before.
Yeah, and every time you fired, and you can see the little reflection of your face, and the thing. I was like, oh yeah, that was memorable. So I'm with you. So I got one there. Nick, have you got one?
I agree completely about Resident Evil and Metroid Prime. Both very good openings, especially Metroid Prime. For me,
but
probably...
my favourite is Rocket League menu.
Oh god, no! Rocket League menu's horrendous. When it's searching for a game, it finds a game and then it cancels the game. Awful.
The memories.
Probably Ocarina of Time. Just Kokiri Forest. It taught you how to play the game. You went into the Deku Tree.
Is it memorable because you people said this was good?
I went into Ocarina of Time almost blind, really.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, that must have been hard to play.
Well, my friend got it and I didn't really know what it was. It was a little bit before I started getting gaming magazines, I think. And yeah, just I remember playing the Deku Tree at his house, and I'd played A Link to the Past, and I thought, this isn't very good. And then when I played it for myself at home, just the whole going out of your house, finding the sword, finding the shield, going into the Deku Tree eventually, and then going out into Hyrule Field after. Really good. Story-wise, I really, really liked the first 3, 4, 5 hours of Xenoblade 2 on the Switch. When you go to that ship, don't you? Mm-hmm. Eventually.
Yeah, and you see Malos for the first time.
And the cutscene, I remember the cutscenes on that were really awesome. And I was really getting into the story, and then you go down to the planet, and you have to do a lot of fetch quests, and it kind of gets a bit dull.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid, that was a really cool intro. I really enjoyed that. I remember playing that as a kid when you're going through the tunnel in the water, and then you have those 2 guards in that room. Very, very memorable. It's burned in my memory.
Yeah. And then whenever they see you, you run and dive into the water.
Somebody here. What was that?
Yeah. I have that one down as well.
You've brought the tone down.
Sorry, and one more.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VIII.
That's the one that's not coming to the
Silence.
This is a Nintendo podcast.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I really obviously Final Fantasy VII came out a couple of days ago. Also, fantastic first couple of hours, that game. Really, really good. But it's kind of got that, it's got the Ocarina of Time vibe where you're... Has anybody played 8, by the way?
Nope.
No.
Wow, boys, come on. It's very, very different from 7. It's more fantasy, kind of medieval. Well, it's not medieval, but definitely more so than the steampunk kind of Final Fantasy VII. Very similar to Ocarina of Time. You start in a school, in a garden, and then you explore, you go out of the school after you get together, explore a cave or 2, kill a boss, go back to the school, and then you get sent out into the world. So it's very similar to Ocarina of Time. But yeah, definitely, I really, really hope that comes to Switch. And I can't believe that 7, 9, 10, 12, what else have we got coming? 14 or whatever. And no 8. I don't get it.
Isn't there rumours that they lost the code and that's why it's never been brought to any other console?
No, because I've got it on Steam, so they must have released it again.
Well, maybe. But anyway, so that was Nick's top 50 game intros.
I do have one more just to left between that.
Why not?
Come on, Greg.
Super Mario 64.
Yes.
Obviously jumping in, coming out of the pipe, and you basically just got this big playground outside the castle just where you can learn all these new controls. Obviously, analog stick, this is a whole new thing, and it just jumps you in, and you can figure it all out, jump on the trees, climb the trees, flip off the trees, dive in the water. You can basically learn everything just in that wee area at the start of the game. Absolutely amazing.
Cool. Right, let's get on to this week's topic. So we alluded to it a little bit earlier on, was talking about the news about those indies and things like that. The big surprise last week was this Cadence of Hyrule, made by what's the company called? But Crypto the Necrodancer guys basically. But it's like 4 of them or something mad like that. Do you hear about how it happened? They said they went to Nintendo and said, "Oh, can we have skins of Zelda and Link as DLC skins for Crypto the Necrodancer?" And Nintendo went, "No. Why don't you make a Zelda game based on next?" That's kind of amazing, isn't it? That is amazing. So, what I want is just kind of, surely all of us have got ideas about what we could do. If not, improvise. Greg, is there a third party or an indie or who could make a Nintendo? If everyone's going to be asking, it's going to open the floodgates. Everyone's going to go, let's ask Nintendo. Let's just do it. Let's just bring it on, because they're up for it. If they're going to give it to those guys, no offense to those guys, but they're so small, then anybody's capable. So they're going to get a lot of requests now. It's their own fault. But what would you love to see?
I actually really struggled with this one because I feel like I don't trust other companies with franchises. I would even be reluctant to let Sega do another F-Zero, despite how good GX is. Like, that's the best F-Zero game. Amazing. I don't feel like they could pull it off again. All I really have, like, if they're going to make it another F-Zero, I'd actually rather it was just the Mario Kart team that made it. So obviously that's part of Nintendo, so it doesn't really work.
Oh, good one. Good answer.
So I sort of struggle to think. I was sort of looking around, and like Paper Mario isn't as good as it was back on like the GameCube and even the N64 one. Obviously, Nintendo and Square Enix teamed up for Super Mario RPG in the SNES. I haven't played that one, but I wouldn't be against Square Enix getting Paper Mario, giving that a go, or even reviving Golden Sun. Have a go at that, because it's about time. Golden Sun's, I'm not really an RPG guy either, but Golden Sun is definitely one of my favourites, so I'm well up for that coming back. But I don't feel like Camelot are going to be doing it, because they're sort of concentrating on the sports games and stuff, so give it to Square.
Okay, that's fair enough. So basically you're just like, what's the worst Nintendo game so then I don't mind someone else giving it a go? It's not a bad approach, to be fair. Not a bad approach, but cynical. What about, I'm going to push you on this.
Okay.
What about a game that doesn't exist, but they just uses Nintendo characters? So maybe a third party or an indie game, like, say, Mario and Rabbids, or like Cadence of Hyrule, which is not them doing a Zelda game as such. It's more of like a Zelda game in Crypto the Necrodancer. So, like, what about Zelda franchise in another game by another developer?
Come back to me.
Okay, I'll come back to you on that one. It's a good one. So they're the two-pronged questions. So what game... Probably should have decided this before, but there you go. That's what we like to do. We like to just, like, what's it? Be organic. That's it. That's the word, isn't it? So, Lee, what third-party or indie would you entrust a Nintendo game with? And then then again, the flip side is, what game by a third-party or indie would you like Nintendo kind of put onto?
Skins put onto. And I was listening to a podcast and they brought this up, and I think, damn, I've already come up with this, and I'm going to go do the second one first. It's that I'd like to see, because they do so many other franchises in their game, I'd love to see Nintendo franchises, and it doesn't have to be Zelda, it could be Metroid, it could be anything, it could just be particular characters in Pinball FX. I'd like to see Nintendo related Pinball FX tables. You could have a kind of Metroid Prime pinball kind of table. You could have Zelda tables. You could have individual Zelda tables. You could have a table based around Wind Waker. You could have a table based around just Zelda herself. You could have tables based around any Nintendo franchise, and I don't know why they haven't done it.
Sold. Absolutely sold.
It seems, yeah, and then sell them in big bundles. You got the Zelda bundle. There's money sitting on the table there.
Yeah, great idea. Great one.
The other kind of flip side is that, all right, you take this third party, and make a game with this. And there's obviously the obvious ones, like I'm playing Wargroove at the moment and loving it. Give them Advance Wars. That's just too similar, and I'm trying to steer away from that kind of similarity. What I'd like to see is the Cuphead Studios, MDHR, in that 1930s style, a run and gun game. And I thought, what kind of franchise could fit a run and gun game? Is something like Kirby or a Yoshi game. Yoshi just throwing
those famous
eggs
run and gun
out everywhere. Yeah. Throwing eggs out everywhere, that kind of Yoshi Safari, blasting. Just do a kind of Yoshi in that kind of Cuphead style. Or even a Mario game. He's got the gloves, bump, bump, bump. He can pick up a gun. Other things like Earthbound. Unlikely to see a new Earthbound. Give it a Toby Fox, Undertale guy. See what he can do with it. Yacht Club games. Surely Yacht Club games could do something good with a 2D platformer. Give them Wario. Give them
the first time?
Something. Treasure. You do Sin and Punishment. Give them the StarFox license.
Yeah.
Just go and do something with StarFox. Indie Creates. I'm trying to think of all these different third-party developers.
Leave some for us.
Sorry. Give them... Okay, I'll do two more. Indie Creates. Give them Kirby. Atui. But who do Mutant Mudds and Zeo Drifter. Give them Star Tropics, because I just finished playing that. Do something interesting with the Star Tropics franchise.
Treasure getting StarFox, that's a no-brainer. I would
Yeah.
love to see that. Where are Treasure at these days? What are they doing?
I don't know.
I didn't have Star Fox for Treasure.
Who did you put down?
I had a reboot for a 2D Gunstar Heroes style Kid Icarus game.
Ah, yeah, that'll do.
Okay, I guess it's kind of similar, I suppose. Star Tropics, I've gone for Retro Studios 3D remake. I haven't even played it yet, so
3D yo-yo blasting. Good.
yeah, they did it with Metroid, so they could probably do it with Star Tropics. Why not? I'd give Metroid to Team Cherry, absolutely. 2D Metroid.
Celeste developers.
No. Hollow Knight.
Oh, Hollow Knight. Sorry,
Hollow
yes,
Knight,
yes. Celeste developers are.
Matt makes games. I wouldn't give them anything.
I'd give them Ice Climbers.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go, Ice Climbers. This is really difficult. I couldn't think of anything. I would just like to see, and we say it every time, F-Zero, Wave Race, 1080, Mario Strikers, whatever these teams are doing now, cancel it and make a new version of all those games we love. Star Fox, actually, I would like to see Factor 5 do Star Fox.
They don't exist, do they?
Yeah, but
They're gone.
But this is Dreamland, so
No, it isn't. It's not Dreamland. It's happening.
I wonder, I do wonder if that trilogy will ever come out that they finished. Apparently, if they can wrangle
That'd be
stuff
amazing.
with the license,
That'd be amazing.
I'd buy that instantly. What else?
Port Rogue Squadron 2.
Yeah, just the second one.
I'd be happy with that. Yeah.
Contrary to what most people think, I would not give F-Zero to Shinnen.
I agree.
You won't give anything to anybody.
I don't know. I do like the fast games, but they're not F-Zero. Not even close, really. I'd like to see Sega do F-Zero again, because it was. Greg already said it was the best F-Zero game.
That Sega's gone.
Really?
That studio, what are they called? The
AV.
Amusement Vision.
Amusement Vision, that's it. Oh, and while they're at it, they can do another Monkey Ball as well. Please. A decent one. Alright, I'm done. I don't know.
The dream, Star Fox, I'd give to Platinum Games.
And just give it to them and don't have any input, Nintendo. Just let them do it.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot Miyamoto. Give him another crack. Give him another crack and do it properly this time. And don't remake Star Fox 64. A brand new Star Fox. And weirdly, I've not actually thought about this question. In my head, when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, it's really easy. Now I'm thinking, I've got no ideas whatsoever. Other than the really obvious ones. I think I am more simple, just in the sense, which is in every sense, but just in the sense of, I want a wave race so badly. I'll take it off anybody.
Yeah, I've been thinking about Wave Race, and I struggle to think who could have made it. I got Wave Race 2, and I can't think of anybody. Who could make it, though?
I was thinking third party. I was thinking, why not one of the realistic racing sim people? Someone who's like Forza.
Codemasters or someone like that, you mean, yeah?
No, Codemasters don't make good games. Forza guys. But they were
Playground games. Yeah, Playground games.
But I think I'm trying to think games I love where I just think Shovel Knight, but then you do just think Metroid is just such an obvious
Mega Man,
right? It's not a Nintendo game.
And
they're making a Mega Man, yeah. I mean, I'd take that. They're the kind of guys who could probably do anything, I think, really. But I just can't stop thinking about games that I really. I've been playing, Punch Out Arcade, so I'm like, I really want a Punch Out game.
Suda 5-1 to do a Punch-Out game, man.
Suda, I don't know.
I tell you what, I'd give him Urban Champion then. Don't give him Punch-Out, just give him Urban Champion, so you get on with that.
I've got a weirdly controversial one. What about giving him F-Zero, but to do like an open world sort of driving around, sort of Mute City,
jump out, have a bit of a fight, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I reckon that could be pretty cool, to be honest, in that style. But yeah, I actually can't think, other than the really obvious ones. But there's no point saying them because everyone thinks them. So, but I can't think of any. I should have thought about this.
Last week you mentioned Ollie Ollie having like a platform kind of game based around Ollie Ollie, more of a kind of Donkey Kong. So give Donkey Kong to the Ollie Ollie guys and stick Donkey Kong on a skateboard or whatever, and just do a platform
Funky
game.
Kong on a snowboard.
Yeah. There you go, done.
Who would, if he's going to make a Donkey Kong platformer, a 3D one? Who would you like to give that to?
It would have to be something different to what it is now in kind of style, and little bit substance would obviously be very similar. How about someone like Image and Form? Put more RPG bits and pieces into it, more backtracking, more, just build it out slightly different than a left to right. Oh, Greg's put his head in it.
This sounds like the worst Donkey Kong game I've ever played in my life.
All backtracking.
I know. That's what I said. RPG elements and more backtracking. Can we remember Donkey Kong 64? No. No, I don't know. But there's going to be loads.
Surprised that they haven't released a Donkey Kong game for the mobile yet, because like a wee minecart game where it's just like tapping the screen.
Yeah.
Seems like a really simple idea, but
like Subway Surfers.
Say that again.
Subway Surfers.
Like Subway Surfers.
Is
that one of those?
It's an endless runner. Yeah. Flick left, flick right, flick up to jump.
I was thinking more of a 2D one.
And also with levels as well. Do you ever play the Rayman games on mobile?
No. Not
they were like
ones.
endless runners where you jump, but they're like specific levels rather than just keep running, keep going, but they're like still set levels. It's like Mario, actually.
Mario Run.
Obviously, since a minecart game, I'd be well up for that. That'd be a mobile game I'd genuinely be excited about.
Yeah,
like a Donkey Kong minecart game. I'd be like, yeah, I'd be up for that. Then have you played a game? I've got one for you. There you go. Here's one. This is a really random one. A Donkey Kong minecart game. not just what you said. It's just like, I've got an idea. Donkey Kong minecart game on mobile. Have you played a game called Alto's Adventure?
No.
On mobile. It's you're going down. I was going to bring this up with the that Lantern game that got announced last week. I was going to bring this up then because it sort of reminded me of that. So basically, this Alto's Adventure is you're going down a mountain. And you sort of get given missions constantly, so it's like it's a bit like Ollie Ollie. Something you got to do a certain move, you got to collect a certain amount of things, and Greg's hates it. It's like it's never ending. You're just constantly going on this mountain. It's procedurally generated. It's completely randomized with things that you can jump off and things like that. And you're constantly going on. It's absolutely beautiful. Looks beautiful, and it's just constantly giving you missions. And that's it. As you go down this mountain, I never got to the end. I played it for hours and hours and hours, but it's because you're constantly being given new little missions. And when you've done those missions, you get like they get replaced with other ones, and you just all you're doing is going down a mountain, and it's like get 10,000 points, and you always got 3 missions live, and if you complete one of them, it'll just introduce another one. Get this, and then if you fall, you'd restart a little bit earlier on. And actually, a Donkey Kong minecart game like that, where it's like this really beautiful, you just constantly going down. And then you get given these little... I'd take that. Alto's Adventure. Those guys. Give them a Donkey Kong game. I don't know if they exist. Other than that, no idea. But we're going to find out. Do you think there's going to be... I think there's going to be an absolute deluge of third parties and indies having Nintendo content in their games. I think Nintendo just floodgates have opened. Greg's the only one. I think us three are quite excited about it. Greg isn't. He doesn't want anybody to touch Nintendo's franchises. But do you think it will happen?
There'll be a few more. But it's not going to be a deluge.
I'm not excited about it.
Oh.
No.
Need to see more, yeah.
Did you not hear Lee's pitch for Donkey Kong?
I think we'll see some stuff like Cadence of Hyrule, but I don't think there'll be a deluge. I think they're going to be very, very careful about who they select and what they select.
Oh, I just thought of another one. That Ape Out game could do well with Donkey Kong. Just put Donkey Kong on there instead of the ape. There you go. Donkey Kong Out.
Oh, that's the new one. Oh, that looks amazing.
It does look really good. That soundtrack is phenomenal.
Greg?
Yep.
You excited? Are we going to see loads? Are you fearing it?
I fear it. I don't think we're going to see loads. I think we probably will see they'll probably be a bit hit and miss, I would suspect, but I definitely fear it.
Imagine some really awful company getting F-Zero. 8-bit style as well, like. Never seen F-Zero in 8-bit.
It's just to go back to your question earlier that I made you skip until later. I've obviously been listening to what you've been saying, so I haven't really been having much time to think for myself. And the only thing I could come up with is something that also terrifies me to my very soul, because I'm not a huge fan of Rockstar, but I'd be interested to see what they would do with the Mario universe.
Mario?
Yep, like a Grand Theft Mario, so obviously they big Mario world, and instead of like normal cars, you're racing around in like carts and stuff or whatever, and they'd have different missions all over the place, but I'm sure Rockstar would find a way to ruin it or make it annoying. Full on wee markers on the map all the time and telling you exactly what to do every 2 seconds.
It would be nothing else but that. Right?
So yeah, that's it.
We'll see what happens. Awesome, that was good. That's fun, as always. We've mentioned it a few times. We're playing through StarTropics at the minute. Ready for the week beginning the 22nd of April. That's when we're going to do that podcast on that one. And maybe the messenger after that, but it's very far away. But StarTropics, a couple of people have finished it already. I decided I'm just going to wait a little bit, because what's the point in finishing it now and then waiting a month to chat about it? So I thought I'll do it closer to the time. I kind of want a little sneaky opinion from the people who have finished it, but... Can you give us a one-word, not a review, but a one-word emotion?
Cheap.
An emotion.
Cheap.
Yes.
Like a bird?
It is, it is cheap, but it's also... I'm trying to think of a word which is...
One word.
There's
a logic to the madness in places.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. If you
it
can
does
find that
it does seem to
logic.
teach... It does teach you how to do most of the things that I've encountered so far, but it's not always immediately obvious.
There are elements where it's less obvious and elements where it's more linear. That's all I'll say. I'm at a loss for the word I'm looking for, but it's like, it is cute. It's got style.
Can you sum it up in a sound?
There's a positive connotation to
Interesting.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. And thanks for listening, as always. We'll chat next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Nintendo Review Podcast. If you like our content, please don't forget to subscribe, give us a like, and ask us a question. You can find this very podcast on all good podcast providers such as iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Just search for the Nintendo Review Podcast. We are also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, YouTube, and our very own website, nintendoreview.co.uk, where you'll find great content such as news, reviews, and impressions. Drop by and say hello. Podcast extras! Podcast extras!
That's not how we do things around here.
Disrespectful.
Just comes along, goes first.
Your voice is gone, that's why.
Sorry, Lee, you're going to have to do this. Disastrous. Well, I've had a day at work as well, so...
He's got a great name, hasn't he? Uchikushi. Over there. Never there. What's happened there?
Ushikushi. We're not going to do this again. Uchikoshi. Oh my god. First time was great.
Ninja Remastered. I forgot. There.
Mark of the Ninja.
Mark of the Ninja, sorry. Yeah, Mark of the Ninja Remastered. I'll cut that bit out.
Oh, thanks.
Brian Sigurdsson.
I did say that was the last time we're going to chat about it. Probably should have been. But for some reason, Greg wants to chat about Crash Team Racing.
You were saying...
Why was Darren noisy?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was plugging my phone in.
I just can't get over the sound effects from Darren here. Because I have no idea what's going on.
You don't want to know.
I think I do know.
We're doing the full range of our topics. The next one is listener question.
No, we got Nick to talk about Bayonetta 2.
Of course, hang on. Let's do that bit again.
Motorbike.
Who asked the question?
I just want to say, Greg, didn't this one come from you?
What's your favourite ever introductory scene? Oh, I just made this one up one time, so Stick a name on it.
Johnny Storm.
Right, I need to try and not up this recording. Darren, what button should I press? Should I press pause? Should I press play? Well, it's recording, but there's a play button. Pause, yeah? You see it. Pause.
Uchikushi.
Ushikushi.